Shuklam Varadaram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Pashantaye Dorbiryukta Chaturbir Spatikamaнимayi Makshamalam Pradana Haste Naikena Padmam Sitamapi Shukam Pustakam Chaparena Bhasa Kundendu Shankas Padikamanimibha Bhasamana Samana Same Vagdevateyam Nivasatu Vadane Sarvada Suprasanna Kujantam Ramarameti Maduram Maturaksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shinvan Rama Katanadam Konayati Param Gatim Goshpati Kritavarashim Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Nambande Nilatmajam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakāñjalim Shvavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Vaidehi Sahitam Suradrumatale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Virasane Sustitam Agre Vachayati Prapanjana Sute Tattvam Munibhya Param Vyakhyantam Bharatati Viparivritam Ramam Vaje Shyamalam Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Chatasya Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhyo Namostu Chandrarka Marudganebhyaha Hri Om. So last time when we met, we ended by saying Rama in hiding shot down Vali. That's where we stopped. Because Sugriva, first time he went, it didn't work out. He came back. So second duel happened. And as planned, Sugriva had a Pushpamala. So because of that, Rama was able to differentiate between the two brothers. All that we saw. It ended. So today what we will see is, because Vali is not convinced. And this is a matter which has been quite a bit discussed in all debates. And there are a few episodes in Ramayanam which are taken up for discussions, whether is it right or wrong. So this is one such episode, whether what Rama did was right or not. So that is what we are going to see. We will first see how Vali raised quite a few questions. I'm not going to go through all the questions, but reasonable amount of those. Because Vali said, what you have done is totally wrong. So it sets the stage for also analyzing it. So Vali said, all that you have done is not correct. And then, of course, in the next Sarga, Rama, these two are slightly bigger Sargas, about 50, 60. One is 58 shlokas, another is 68 shlokas. So Rama replies, and he says, why did he do that? Right? So we have a little bit of that. And then Vali says, I did a lot of bad things. So he finally says, I'm happy to be killed by you. But he pleads that you take care of me. All those are that. So we will see. And then Tara comes. Now, this particular episode is very hard. And if you ask how difficult it is as difficult as the governor of Maharashtra deciding who should come and form the government, or in Goa, or in Karnataka. Now, why I'm saying that is that is the sort of a challenge. See, if everything is so straightforward, if everything is amenable to a set of sort of rule books, first of all, then we don't need anything called governance, number one. Number two, in an era of all this technology and all that, you can simply write a program and the program will decide what to do. That is one issue. I mean, the point I'm trying to make is many of the things that happen, forget about this episode, I'm generalizing it. Many of the episodes, many of the events that happen in our life, even in our own personal lives, particularly the dilemmas, the challenges, the kind of do I do this way or that way, does not lend itself to a very straight, simple answer. Life is not like that. Life does not throw clean situations where there is a rule book. You can simply apply the rule book. But that is where the challenge of life also is. That's where this whole discussion of ethical dilemma, moral dilemma, what is right, what is not right, all these issues are there. Purana is full of these kinds of stories. You look at many of the Puranas and our Itihasa, there are stories which actually brings this issue to the foreground. So this episode is bringing that to the foreground. Rather than jumping straight into who is right, which is in a different platform, it's a time pass you can do. You can, rattle your analytical brain as much as you can and win some accolades and convince people. It's not about convincing a set of people at a certain point in time by strength of argument, which is what would have happened here also in some ways. It's not that. It is to understand this sukshma, that many of the life situations do not lend itself for a very clean kind of a how to go about it. No, this was very much recognized. This was deeply understood by the ancestors. That's why in Taittiriya Upanishad, in the Anushasana, in the last Anuvaka of Taittiriya Upanishad, Sikshavalli, Satyamada, Dharmamchara, it says, all that it is going on, Swadhyaya, Anmam, all that is Devaputrika Karyabhyam na Pramaditavyam Matridevo Bhava Pitridev, all that is going on. Then comes this beautiful thing. He says, Ye tatra brahmana asam marshinaha yukta ayukta aluksha dharma kamasyuhu yata te tatra varteran tata tatra varteta esha adesha upadesha esho upanishad. So then twice it comes. The point is, the Guru tells the boy is going to get into the dynamics of the world. See, whatever you say, the place of learning in today's universities, because today's universities also have certain other complications, but this kind of institutions, let us say, is a very safe place. A place of learning, a university, is a very nice, protected place where the idealism can be very nicely imparted, where the best of what to do can also be told. But our ancestors never stopped there. They were acutely aware that once you step out of this university, once you step out of this education, see, our best times are our student times, because we were only gathering some knowledge, we were very free in some ways. These kinds of huge challenges are not part of our life. But once the student steps out into the real world and lead a life, This issue will confront them all the time. So the Guru actually wanted to alert the student. That is the last piece of advice in the Anushasana. After, Shraddhaya Deyam, Shraddhaya Deyam, Hiya Deyam, Piya Deyam, Samvidida Deyam. All that he said how you should give profusely, how you should give with a sense of humility, with a sense of hri. Means I should not hurt the receiver. That's called hri. That it is not bhaya. Bhiya Deyam is also there. That is with fear. The fear is one kind. The fear is subtlety. I should not hurt. I should be very careful about it. So all that he said, finally he came here. He said, Ye tatra brahmana sammarshinaha. Now you may have several questions. How do you solve this? How do you resolve it? So he says, Ye tatra brahmana sammarshinaha yuktaha ayuktaha. They are all well composed people. They are all very rhythmic people. They are in sync with the eternal truth. Look for such people. Yuktaha, alukshaha. They have a longer view of things. Dharma kamasiyu. They have a deep desire for the dharma. Dharma kamaha. It's not dharma and kama. Dharma kamaha. They are so desirous of dharma. They are so desirous of establishing dharma. So the Guru gives all these kind of prelude and say, go and see what they do. Go and see what they do, and maybe you do what they do. More or less it will be correct. It's a very simple. See, if you read in other granthas, in Dharma Shastras also, what it says, because everybody has recognized this, that when we step in and do a few things, there are bound to be some sort of catch-22 situations. So what do we do about it? So our ancestors have that different places have spoken about it. Our order is like this. First of all, nothing can be in violation of Shruti. If things are in violation of Shruti, which is the Veda, Vedanta and the Upanishads, you are not supposed to do that. Shruti Pramana for Sanatana Dharma. So Shruti doesn't tell in great details, of course. Shruti is very concise. It is cryptic. It is written like that. It's like our Bar Act. Shruti is also written in a very, and doesn't sometimes tell directly. It tells in a very indirect sense and so on. So therefore, if you are not able to get that guidance from the Shruti, go to the Smriti Grantha. So the Yukta, Ayuktaha, Aluksha, Dharma, Kamasiyu, such people only have written those Smriti Granthas. So look at Smriti. Because Smriti is more detailed. Smriti takes the injunctions of the Shruti and provide operating plans, do's and don'ts, everything. If some error, if some mistake is done, how to even give punishments. Chapter 8, I am going to bring a little bit from Chapter 8 of Manusmriti today. Chapter 8 of Manusmriti has about, I think, 450 shlokas. It's all about justice, administration and punishment. Very detailed. 450 shlokas. Which is probably about 1/6 of the entire Manusmriti. Manusmriti is 2,700 shlokas or so. So 400 shlokas in Chapter 8. Very detailed. So Smriti Grantha says, go to Smriti. Suppose you have no access. See, people say, I don't have access to Shruti. I am not learned. I mean, I don't have to know Sanskrit. I don't have. Why are you expecting? This is the greatness of Sanatana Dharma. The provisions are not given with exclusivity. It is given the inclusivity. For example, you will come and say, no, sir, I don't know Shruti. Then look at Smriti. No, I don't know Smriti. And it is not within my reach. Sishtachara. You say, okay, don't worry. Sishtachara, Sishtas, not Dushtas. Look at the Sishtas. Good people see what they do, follow it. Nothing will happen. Simple. Depending upon what level I am able to access, to what level I am able to assimilate for myself, our provisions are throughout like that, even in Dharma Shastra. See, in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 shlokas. He says you do dhyana. If you can't do dhyana, dhyana, at least you think of me. If you are not able to think of me, at least, whatever karma you do, do a palatyaga. That is the kind of prescription Krishna gives in chapter 12. Because our prescriptions are never exclusive. Today, we are all told all these, these ancient Indian system is all exclusive. They have wrongly understood. Because a class of people who studied it, interpreted it, if you call it exclusive, then the entire management literature, anesthesia, everything is exclusive now. Set of people only read it. They only know it. You can't use it as a basis to say it is exclusive. You should go by what spirit of what it says and what it says. And nobody wants to argue. They are saying exclusive because some Brahmins who know Sanskrit are holding the key, therefore it is exclusive. That is true of your technology, that is true of your medicine, that is true of your psychology, psychiatry, whatever. That's not the basis. If you look at the spirit of it, everywhere it is inclusive. Do this. If it's not your level, do this. No, this is too much. Do this. So like that, Shruti Granthas, Shruti knows that I can't access Smriti. No, that also is not in my access. Sishtachara. That's more practical, na? That's the most practical thing. I am in a place, I'll only look around, there's a very nice person, pious person, I will do what he does. And my Atma Sakshi is in rhythm. This is the practicality of recommendations. Don't tell recommendation which makes it exclusive, makes it inaccessible, makes it simply not available. We are not like that. So I think in our scheme of things, we have said Shruti, Smriti, Sishtachara, or look at then it says elders in your family. You don't have that. Do what your elders do in your family. That's the next. Do what your elders do in the family. I mean, it was such a nice hierarchy of practical ways by which we can resolve. Otherwise, this conflict, then we do something, later something happens, then we start thinking what we did was right. So you want to settle this issue. So they say Sishtachara, I mean, some very learned and local people, look at the elders in your family. For all practical people, they are the Sishtas for you. Fine, you go by what they do. So like these kinds of, the reason is dharma is very, very complex. They say, dharma sukshma. Dharma is it's not a very straight, as I told you. Constitutional provisions the governor is really not on a joking way. It's a very serious issue because there is every angle to it. That's what they call the experts. They are also doing Sishtachara only. They call the experts and they take their finally this person, if he is well informed, he has understood very well. Probably what he does will be right. So even in a simple deciding who should be invited to form the government, should you go with the largest number as the first, or do you go with people who say we have the largest? Very interesting problems. In the same way, dharma is dharma sankata when it comes. Dharma is very sukshma. Now this dharma is very sukshma is also discussed. And one episode I will tell you, which is a very powerful episode. I narrated it long back once, I remember. In Mahabharat, Karna Parva, okay, what happens is when the war was happening, Pandavas had one clear agreement. Pandavas, not even Pandavas. Bhima and Arjuna had one clear agreement. And that agreement was either Bhima will always protect Yudhishthira or Arjuna, one of the two. Because the war is over and the king is captured. And Yudhishthira is not a great warrior. He is a great dharmatma. He is not a great warrior. This was the agreement. So it so happened once that Arjuna was supposedly sort of protecting Yudhishthira. But in the course of that war, he went away from Yudhishthira. And Yudhishthira was almost on the verge of being finished off. So he was alone. And then Bhima saves him and all that happens. That day evening in the kutira, in the tent, there is a hard discussion. Yudhishthira was very angry. For a change, Yudhishthira was very angry. So Yudhishthira said to Arjuna that of what avail is your Gandiva? He spoke ill of Gandiva. Basically, he said, you have let me down. So when he said all that, Krishna is of course there. So Arjuna says, my dharma is that if anybody talks ill of Gandiva, I am supposed to kill them. So I'll now finish off Yudhishthira. Finished. He picks up his Gandiva. Then Krishna steps in. He's there in Karnaparva. There are about 12 shlokas. 10, 12 shlokas are there. So Krishna stops Arjuna. He tells Arjuna, do you know what is dharma? You don't even know what is dharma, actually. Point is, just having a set of rules or just knowing some, even the Smriti Grantha is not dharma. That's the point. He said to Arjuna, you think you know dharma, you don't know dharma, I am telling you. No, you don't know dharma. First put off your, your Gandiva. He says, sometimes Satya is dharma, sometimes Asatya is dharma. He goes on like that. He gives. Now, even to make that shlokas, make sense of the shlokas, we have a huge risk of misinterpreting it and using it for our convenience. Because dharma, at the end of it, dharma is, we have to go back to the root, drui dharane. Dharma comes from an inherent ability to behold, support, sustain. Dharma is sustainability. We have to use today's sustainability of what? Sustainability of this planet. And sustainability means different things. You have a rogue king. Killing a king is the highest requirement first. Otherwise, the society will not be sustained. That's the start of Bhagavad Gita also. Arjuna is saying, I won't, and then he tries to slip away and so on. Dharma is a very, very deep concept. It is, so what is sustainability? You need, with all these rules, you have now interpret the rules to ensure that it takes us on the path of sustainability, not on the path of personal benefit, however big the benefit may be. It's all loka sangraha. I mean, I do not know whether we have that capability to even enlarge our thinking like that. That's why you need such people. Aluksha dharma kama siho. Yatate tatra varteran, yukta ayukta. Those people would be banging on these ideas, whereas we have some theoretical ideas, some basic principles of living we have, of course. Principles of living, that Samanya Dharma we have, but what we are talking are all complicated dharmas, not Samanya Dharma. They are called Vishesha Dharma. See, you have Samanya Dharma, Satyam, Ahimsa, Asteyam. These are all Samanya Dharma. You don't steal, you don't do violence, inflict violence, you speak truth. These are Samanya Dharma. That is fine. Yamas like that. They are all Samanya Dharma. Then you have what is called Vishesha Dharma. Vishesha Dharma is when you are playing a role. Now, a doctor, a cardio surgeon should not take a knife and then say Ahimsa and put down the knife. With full of thing, he has to tear down the chest, tear open the chest. You have to inflict a lot of pain on that individual for his larger welfare, no? The mother should give a slap on the child. Today you have domestic violence and all that. The mother does because she is the embodiment of deep love. She knows there is something you have to do for the child to eat. It is for the child's health she is doing. That's called Vishesha Dharma. So in Vishesha Dharma, you have to take the rule book and understand the fundamental principle with which you apply the rule book. That is called Vishesha. So what Rama and Vali are going through are Vishesha Dharmas. A Kshatriya Dharma is a Vishesha Dharma. Chief executive of a company is a Vishesha Dharma. Head of the family is a Vishesha Dharma, not Samanya Dharma. So when those kinds of conflicts come, we should know what is Dharma, the meaning of Dharma, what is sustainable that I have to address. These are very, very important. Then you have Apad Dharma. In Apad Dharma, many of the rules have to be violated. N block, again for Dharma. Again, the example is there is a fire and there is a lady caught in I cannot say it is unholy to touch a lady. She is a married lady. That's not part of apadharma. You have to go literally lift her and bring her out. That's called apadharma. So these dharma has its own sort of facet. That's what Krishna has said. You have no idea. So therefore, if you go in that direction, then that's what I keep saying in my my elective course also. I keep saying this. To me, it appears that the modern discussion of means and ends is a very low-level discussion. Because in Mahabharata, you will find sometimes means are important, sometimes ends are important, sometimes means are not important, ends are important, sometimes both are not important, sometimes both are important. So this discussion means versus ends is not the issue. Dharma dictates how do you play out these two dials. Krishna did so much in Mahabharata. He, employed means which are not correct. But then it's a larger principle of dharma, because otherwise the sustainability of society, yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati, abhyuttanam adharmasya tada atma. The adharma has gone up. You have to get it out at any cost. But then to person who does it should have a deep understanding of dharma, should have absolutely no personal interest. So when you take a decision calling the notion of dharma, you should have no personal interest in that. Not an iota of personal interest. Your only interest is dharma kamaha. That level we have to go, then we will know how to interpret. So those are the issues we will anyway come. I want to give this preamble to, because it is this background in which that event has to be understood. In Viduraniti, there is this shloka which Vidura says that if you have to save a village, sacrifice a family. If you have to save the country, sacrifice a village. That will never fit into your means ends argument at all. Today's modern parlance of rights, societies and all that will destroy all that. Dharma is a deep desire to, in the long run, we should ensure sustainability happens. Look at all the allopathy medicine. Allopathy medicines are today, especially I am seeing, of late I am seeing, allopathy medicines are simple carpet bombing. They kill, when you take one poisonous snake, when 1,000 good fishes die, what is the idea there? The idea is sustainability. You can't cherry pick an evil person and then sometimes kill, it's a carpet bombing. Today allopathy is like that. Cancer treatment is what? It's simple carpet bombing. They burn everything good and bad in that area because there lies the possibility of sustainability. So a few will go. So you can't use the normal thing and then resolve it. Your larger goal is that this person has to survive. There we are able to understand this principle. A lot of good cells are destroyed. Chemotherapy just destroys massively that area. It's simple bombing. That's what allopathy also does. That is the principle, but that principle, person who applies the principle must be completely disinterested and dispassionate. So we have to ask that question first. Are we like that? Then we know how to use the dharma, the principles of dharma, because they are plain, simple rule books. It requires a certain interpretation. You can't simply apply rules or use the simple rules for Vitandavada. Show this rule and he violated. So that is not what, that's why I said that we can do for a debate. In a debate, they are very interesting. It's a good time pass. We can show this rule has been violated, that rule has been violated. All that we can do. There the idea is to somehow pick a hole. Here the idea is sustainability. It is under what condition, what I do. Because what is done today will not be done tomorrow. There are stories like that. If you read in Puranas, you will find. Why did you do this like this and not do this like this tomorrow? And there are a lot of seemingly conflicting things. Again, I tell you one episode. I think it is in Bhagavatam. So Krishna and Narada, Krishna and Narada goes to a Bhakta's house. Bhakta is a very wealthy Bhakta. He is a good Bhakta. He goes to his house, and as soon as both of them go, Vishnu says, I am Sakshat Vishnu, I have come. So this Bhakta was really up on his feet. He gave him specially made milk, this, that. He gave nice bed, everything he gave. Everything he gave. Really, sort of give him the best of what he can and looked at, carefully analyzed what is to be given. Everything he did. So that night, Vishnu and Narada stayed. Next day morning, when he left, he profusely blessed, let you get more and more money, more and more prosperity. Profusely he blessed and then left. Then they go like this. There is one poor fellow, very poor Brahman, I think, just one cow he has. That's all. His kutir is not anything great. He is also a very true bhakta of Vishnu. They both go there. Then Vishnu says, Vishnu has come. So this man is melted now. Well, he doesn't have anything. He has a little, half a tumbler of milk. He says, let me give it to Vishnu, that's okay. He has a torn little mat. He gives it to Vishnu. He says, let me. So whatever he can, in the best of what he can do, he does all that. Then the next day morning, when Vishnu and Narada left, Vishnu blessed him by murmuring. Narada didn't hear what it was. So after they went out, Narada asked, you murmur, you blessed, but I didn't hear. What did you bless? Vishnu said, I blessed that cow be dead. That's his only hope. That's all this man has. So I blessed him, let the cow be dead soon. So Narada was quite perplexed. These stories are meant for it. Narada was quite perplexed. Narada said that rich man was quite a cost benefit. He was bhakta, but I observed a lot of cost benefit that he was doing. Even when he showed arti, artharti, jignasu, in Bhagavad Gita, we must have told this story at that time when we discussed chapter 7, I think. Arti is artha bhakta. Means, my bhakti is very transactional. Of course, my bhakti is genuine. But the reason is transactional. You pass me in the exam, I'll give you 10 coconuts. Let me see your luck now. That kind of artha bhakta. Narada said he was an artha bhakta. And you blessed him so much. More Aishwarya, everything. This man was absolutely true bhakta for you. We are able to see it for ourselves. Such a purity of bhakta, and his only hope of living was this cow, and you are blessing that this cow is. That I don't understand this logic. Because our understanding of dharma is like this. Then Vishnu said, I'll tell you the logic. The logic is, this poor man, his bhakti on me is 99.999999%. The point, not 1% is because of that cow. If it goes, he'll come to me. 100%. So we don't understand many short-term events. We see it from our own frame. How about him? No, this fellow has to enjoy more and more and more and then go through the thing. He has suffered through all. He should understand he should develop dispassion and vairagya. He needs more janmas. So let me give him more and more money. So many of our prayers, after I read the story, I did not understand I understood the futility of our prayers saying, give me more money, give me more. I don't understand what is all this mean. Because, so here is what apparently looks a very, very wrong kind of a thing, but there is a larger principle behind it. Dharma is always like that. It is about goodness for the greatest, in the greatest possible time, in the greatest possible ways, and eternally. For which what decision I have to take now, I do not know. If people have that view and have so much of dispassion and vairagya, then yes. So people like Rama belong to that category, actually. So anyway, we will, with all these background, we will, because I have all these, better I say now so that we can flash through the shlokas now. Okay, I think yes. No, he went for the duel. I think it's very stop. Oh, no? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, yes, this is that Sarga. You're right. This is that Sarga, 16th Sarga. So, you're right. So, obviously, Vali was not going to listen to Tara. So, in the first 12 shlokas, clearly they are told, I know you have a lot of interested in welfare, on my welfare, all that I know. But don't worry, I will not kill him. Don't worry, I will not kill Sugriva and all that. But I will inflict enough damage on him, I will return victorious. That's the reply he gives to Tara, first 12 shlokas. I will not kill him, but I will inflict a lot of damage in him, and I will return victorious. So the next 18 shlokas, Vali and Sugriva aggressively fight, and Rama watches the whole thing. Slowly, Sugriva is losing his strength. Help must be given at a very opportune time, at an appropriate time. So I jokingly say, occasionally I go and evaluate PhD thesis for some of the. So I always tell my friends, you should make them earn the degree. So I have a very rigorous exam. At the time when they think things are, at the end of the day, they will cherish it. What I'm saying, our help must come until we reach. So many times we get very fickle-minded. The God will, if the God give you help at the very beginning, your Shraddha and God will go. So sometimes you should suffer and come to the brim, and if you have Bhagavad Kataksha, he'll give the lifting hand. So we should worry about all the, we have all these worries in our life. Oh, so much I am doing, I'm not getting. I think we should surrender to the Lord and go. So that's what is being indicated here. Sugriva really was at the brink of going, because this Vali is thrashing him. That time Rama comes in. He waits for it. And then the Rama in the next 9 shlokas, Rama shoots Vali down and puts an arrow, and then he shatters him, and then he falls on the ground. So yeah, that is here in this Sarga. I'm not going to take any shlokas here because. Then Vali starts talking. Vali really accuses Rama of foul play, right? So the first 12 shlokas, after Vali fell down, Rama and Lakshmana, they were in hiding. So they came. They came in front of him and looked at him and told, I am Rama and Lakshmana. Then Vali started. So the last, the long set of shlokas that you see, 40 shlokas in the Sarga, is a series of not necessarily only questions, thoughts and questions that Vali had to Rama. Basically, he said, I did nothing, to you. So there are 2-3 dimensions to his sort of talking to him. One was, one argument he made was, I did not do anything to you. Why did you hurt me? To the extent of almost you have killed me now. That is one line of argument. Other line of argument is, you are a Kshatriya. Don't you know Kshatriya dharma? Why did you hide behind like this and then killed me? You should have come in. That kind of thing. So like these 2-3 different things he said in these shlokas. I have picked up some 7-8 shlokas which will give a sense of what is going on here. So Rama and Lakshmana has come. Seeing both of them, that's what the shloka says. Tam drishtva raghavam Vali Lakshmanam cha mahabalam abravit parusham vakyam prashritam dharma samhitam sabhumau alpate josu nihato nashta chetanaha artha sahitaya vacha garvitam rana garvitam tam Raghavam Lakshmanam Tam Raghavam Mahabalam Lakshmanam Chadrishtva Vali, having seen this Mahabalaha, Lakshmanaha and Raghava, that is the first line. Tam Raghavam Mahabalam Lakshmanam cha drishtva Vali abravit. He said. That is how the thing is coming. Abravit. Parusham Vakyam. Harsh sentences. Parusha is harsh. Right? Parusham Vakyam. Prashritam dharma samhitam. Right? So, with a sense of righteousness, he thought, and he was saying that, Prashritam dharma samhitam. Saha bhumau alpatejaha asuhu nihataha. These are all descriptions of Vali. What is Vali? Vali is nashta chetana. His chitta is gone. He is losing his chitta. Nashta chetana. Okay? Nihataha, who has been sort of killed. Nihataha. Alpa tejasaha. His tejas has shrunk. That light which is the source of that Paramatma which is in our body starts shrinking, which means the light is fading away, we say, no? Light is fading away, we say, no? It's fading. Alpa tejas. Bhumau nihitaha. One who was fell to the ground by the arrows. Artha sahitaya vacha. In his well-meaning, in his own way, he wanted to, in right, well-meaning way, he wanted to ask him. It's not out of, although it is harsh, it is not arrogant or anything, it is well-meaning. He really wanted to ask, what is going on here? Artha sahitya vacha, garvitam, rana garvitam. One, Rama is garvitam Ramam. Rama has his pride. He is rana garvitam. He has a pride of having fought. Not only here, he is a great sort of warrior in some way. So his pride in the battlefield with which he spoke to the man who is pride for all his achievements. So there are two Garvitam. One Garvitam is for Rama, another is for Vali. So this is the preamble. He starts from 14 shloka, he starts. Kulina sattva sampannaha tejasvi charitavratah Rama karuna vedi cha prajanam cha hite ratah sanukrosho mahotsaha samayagno dridavratah ityetat sarva bhutani katayanti yasho bhuvi. Bhuvi, in this world, yashaha, fame. Iti etat, like this. The first three lines are the good things about Rama. Sarva bhutani katayanti. Everybody says nice things about you. That's the first thing he said. Everybody said good things about you. Etat yashaha bhuvi sarva bhutani katayanti. All people in the world talk about your fame. Etat is pointing. Those are the first three lines. And what are those? Kulinaha. You are from a good kula, from good family, good pedigree. Kulinaha. Sattva sampannaha. Right? You have that quintessential attributes with you. Sattva is astitva, quintessential attributes. Tejasvi, right? You are embodiment of Tejas. Tejasvi. Charitavratah. You observe a lot of vows, which means you are a very disciplined. What are these vrata? Vratas are only to self-discipline us. Indriya nigraha will come. Right? Sensory control. Shama damadi. Sadhana sampat. To get, vratas are meant for it. Otherwise, what is the use of these vratas? If you don't test your mettle, you don't know your strength, you can keep on saying, I'm very fearful. One day you should actually try your fear, your strength of fearfulness or otherwise. Like that, I think vratas are meant for evolving this individual, bring the shama damati gunaha. So you are a charita vrata, one who has treaded through. Charati vrate charitaha charita vrataha, one who has observed, passed through all these vratas. Ramaha karuna vedi. You are a very compassionate person, right? Prajanam hite rataha. You always worry about the welfare of the prajas. Prajanam hite rataha. You revel Rati, you are always commit yourself for prajanam hitam. Prajanam hite ratah. Sanukroshaha mahotsaha. Right? You are, you want to do some good things. You put a lot of effort to do good things. Sanukroshaha with a lot of utsaha, with a lot of enthusiasm, and you do assertively, you do good deeds. Sanukroshaha. Right? Samayajnaha. Right? You have a good sense of time. Time meaning what should I do at what time? That is the meaning. Appropriate things to do at appropriate time. That is not knowing time. It's not it is 5:15 and not of that kind. Please, you are appropriately what to do when and so on. Dridhavrataha, you are very steadfast in your vows and so on. All that they said. So first he said only that they said so many good things about you. I fail to understand a person with so many good things, why should he kill me? That's the first argument he sort of made. Vishaye va pure vate yada papam karomyaham nachatvam avajaneham kasmatvam hamsi akilbisham phalamoolashanam nityam vanaram vanagocharam mamiha pratiyudyantam anyena cha samagatam. So vishayeva pureva te vishayeva te pureva. Yeah, in your matter or in your city, say I should not come and then disturb. You are a kshatriya. So vishayeva pureva yada papam karomyaham. Suppose I came and created disturbance, there is a reason. You are a kshatriya, you have to sort it out. So in your matters, in your city, right? Nachatvam avajaneham. I didn't, come and disturb you in any ways. I did not taunt you. I did not come and disturb you in any ways. Right? Kasmatvam hamsi akil bisham. I am akil bisham now. I am not kil bisham. I am akil bisham. See, hamsi plus akil bisham, hamsi akil bisham. The akara becomes yakara. Right? Yansandi. Hamsi akil bisham. Kasmatvam hamsi. Why did you kill? I am sinless as far as you are concerned. I did not do anything to you. Tasmat tvam hamsi akil bisham. Then he says, Pala moola ashanam nityam vanaram vanagocharam. I am a vanara. I am a vanagochara. I am always in the forest only. And I eat, only fruits and roots. Pala moola ashanam. Ashanam is eating. Palamoola ashanam nityam. We always eat only. So no way we are, there is no non-rivalry. There is no rivalry with you. So there is non-rivalry here. I am not eating your food. I am just eating fruits and roots. I am inside the forest only. We are all vanaras. So palamoola ashanam nityam vanaram vanagocharam mam. Person like me who is like this. Iha Apratiyudyantam anyena cha samagatam. Aham tu anyena samagatam. I was actually fighting with somebody. I did not even fight with you. I was fighting with my brother. Right? So how come you come and hit at me? I have not disturbed you. I have not come in your way. I have not even confronted you in the war. I am doing it with somebody else. How can you? Right? How can you asking? These are all, he is only saying, giving all the descriptions. That I was not fighting with you. I was fighting with somebody else. I am eating food which is non-rivalry with you. I never came anywhere near a city or anything and committed any problem for you. So he is asking what is going on here. Tvam naradipate putraha pratita priya darshanaha lingam apyastite rajan drishyate dharma samhitam. Naradhipatehe putraha tvam. You are a son of a great Chakravarti. Naranam Adhipati. Lords of the human beings. Actually, you are a son of a great Chakravarti. Pratitaha, very famous. Priyadarshana, charmingly looking and all that. And yours is a very different thing. Right? Lingam api asti. Lingam api asti. Linga means chinna, indications. Linga means indications. Huh? So, lingam api asti te. I am able to see signs in you, hey Rajan. I am able to see signs that you are a person who follows dharma. I am able to make out from the way Nadi Nudi in the Kannada Bhasha. The way you do achara vichara, I am able to also sort of come to a conclusion that you are do dharma achara. You are a very renowned person. You are part of a great king. You are very famous. You look good, and from the signs of what I see, your body language and all that, it looks like you are a person who follows dharma and all that, right? So I am asking then, why did you kill me? That's what the question. The question is implied in all this. It's only bringing the issue. Kaha kshatriya kule jataha shrutavan nashta samshayaha dharmalinga pratichannaha kruram karma samacharet. See, in Sanskrit, after visarga, kshakara comes. You should pronounce the visarga. You should not say kakshatriya kule jataha. You should not pronounce like that. If there is a visarga followed by ksha, visarga must be pronounced. Kaha kshatriya kule jataha, like that we have to say. That it's required. Kshatriya kule jataha, somebody who is born in the Kshatriya kula, right? Shrutavan, who knows Shruti. Shrutavan is not heard. Shrutavan means one who is an expert in Shruti. So you know Shruti. Let's say Shrotriyaha. That's another word they use. Shrotriyaha. In all Upanishads it will come actually. Shrotriyaha. Nashta samshayaha. Yasya sarva samshayaha nashtaha. For him there is no more doubts in his life. He is clear of everything. Nashta samshaya. Avratra samshayane illa. There is no samshaya in him. There is no confusions in him. He is such a person. Nashta samshayaha. Dharmalinga pratichannaha. You go after good things. Right? Whenever signs of dharma, you enthusiastically go after it. Right? A person like that, a person who has all these kaha yet sarvam, that has all these kruram kaha krura karmam samacharet. A person who has all these nice things, such a person, who is that person who will do actually a krura karma, an act of cruelty in some way? Because I was not fighting with you, you were hiding, I didn't come and disturb you, you know everything, you are a dharmishta. All that is there, and then you did a krura karma. It's all very confusing to me. So that's what Vali is asking. Hatva banena kakutsta mamihana paradinam kim vakshyasi satam madhye karma kritva jugupsitam. Jugupsitam karma kritva, the action you did jugupsa is anger, can easily anguish people. That's the kind of work you have done. See, sometimes when you do something which people will get angry, no? If you do something wrong, dharma viruddha, if you do, you get angry. Why is he doing it? And especially if you do it on me, I'll get even more angry. So, dharma jugupsitam karma kritva, satam madhye kim vakshesi. All these sat janas are there, santas are there, no? They ask, what are you going to say now? That's what he is asking. Okay? Kim vakshesi satam madhye karma kritva jugupsitam. And what is that karma? Hatva banena kakusa mam iha anaparadinam. Aparadinam, anaparadinam. I am not aparadi. I am anaparadi. So a faultless person you killed. And if some learned people are in their company, what are you going to say now? Because you cannot easily. This is the dharma sankata. This is what they are debating, no? So all these questions he asked. Huh? The Kim Vakshasi Satam Madhye Karma Kritva Jugupsitam. Then he says, Charma Chasti Cha Me Rajan Nasprishanti Manishinaha Abhakshyani Cha Mamsani Soham Panchanako Hataha. So we are all Panchanakas. There are 5 nails in all the limbs. That's why we are called Panchanakas. 5 limb, fingers, and they all have naka, no? Panchanako Hataha Manushyas. That's a word to say you are a human being. I am a Vanara. And you killed me. Okay? Panchanako Hataha Aham. Aham Panchanako Hataha. Saha Aham. That person is me who has been killed by you. Right? But what kind of, what is the prayojana of your killing? He says, Mama Charma, which is my skin. Mama Asti. Cha Asti, Cha Asti. Huh? Asti is the bone. Na? So, neither my skin or my bone, right? Nasprishanti Manishinaha. Nobody even touches it. They have no use for it. Right? Abhakshyani cha. Mamsani. My mamsa is also not eaten. Some Chinese eat, monkeys meat and all that. But looks like in India they don't. We are still not aware. So he says, Abhakshani cha mamsani. So there is no prayojana. Well-thinking people would have even thought, what do you do by killing this monkey? This skin is of no use. At least if it is a deer, I'll use a deer skin. Somebody told, put the deer skin and do your, japa. Huh? Ajina, in chapter 6 it comes. Kuru. Ajinaha, Kushaha, Uttaraha, all that is there at least. So it's not even deer. So my bone is of no use, my skin is of no use, my mamsa is of no use. Some people who are little thinking will not even attempt to kill. So he tries to ask questions from all dimensions. That's why I picked a few shlokas to give you a sense of where from Vali is coming. So Rama has to give an answer now. That's the next Sarga. So 18th Sarga, Rama justifies half the Sarga, he justifies, that's all he speaks. Doesn't speak much actually, right? So first 25 shlokas, Rama extols the path of dharma, which he says Ikshvaku kings follow, and tells Vali that he violated dharma. Squarely he violated dharma. He explains it to him. And then he also recounts from Smriti what I said at the beginning, Sishtachara, Shruti, Smriti, Granthas, Purojai, all that he brings actually. He brings all those, he says, these are what kings must follow. You violated all of them. Like that he gives. Then after hearing these arguments, so Rama's argument was very simple. You are a king of the Vanaras. You have violated the dharma which is ordained for you. You have to go now. Finished. And if you have to go, I will have to do by hook or crook. That's why I'm saying these means and ends are all different kind of discussion. There is a larger principle of sustainability. A person with no passion, no dispassionately, with vairagya, if he can approach, he will not falter. That is the assumption here. Right? After hearing all that, Vali actually seeks his pardon. He acknowledges the adharma he did. Acts of adharma he did. Then he said, I am too happy to be killed by you. I am very happy to be killed by you. Then he says, take care of my son. And Rama assures him safety of his son. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Time has come for you to go, you go. Nothing will happen to your son. Everything will be taken care. So that is what this Sarga is. So I am going to take only the dharma part of it. There are other things. I am just going to take a few shlokas. Then from Manusmriti, I want to show a few shlokas. Jeshto brata pita chaiva yascha vidyam prayachati trayaste pitaro jneya dharme cha pativartinah. He says, Jeshta Brata, the eldest son, Jeshta Brata, Pita, Pitrisamaha. So Jeshta Brata is equal to the father. Now the Jeshta Brata also must be equally burdened with that thinking, and the younger people also must be burdened with that thinking. It has to happen in a very nice mutual way. That's the best thing that should happen. Jeshta Brata, number one, Pita Chaiva, father himself. Yes, Yahacha Vidyam Prashchati, those who taught you Vidya, the preceptor, right? The person who taught you whatever Vidya, these Trayahate Pitaraha Jnayaha. Understand, these three are actually fatherly. There is a sloka. You know, in fact, Annadata, Bayatrata, there are 5. Panchete Pitaras Samaha. And you know, Janita cha Upanetascha. Yascha Vidya Prashchate, Annadata, Bayatrata, Panchayite Pitarasamaha. There is another sloka. 5 are there. Here the 3 has come. Similarly, Janani, Gurupatni, like that, there are there. Panchayite Matrasamaha. The slokas are there. Yes. Anyway, so, Trayahate Pitaraha Jnayaha. By whom? Dharme Pativatinaha. One who has treaded the path of Dharma knows that these people are equivalent to a father. You are a father for Sugriva. That's what he is saying. Your role is you are the father of Sugriva. If you had really treaded the Dharma, path of Dharma. You must have realized I am fatherly. I am like father to him. He said, Dharmecha Pativartinaha Jnayaha. Those who tread the path of Dharma, who know the know of Dharma, unambiguously know in their mind that these 3 people, that Subhashita talks about 2 more. So these people are really fatherly. Janitacha, Upanetracha, somebody who did Upanayana for you. Janitacha, Upanetracha. Okay? Yascha Vidya Prayaschate, one who gave you knowledge. Right? And then Annadata, Bayatrata, somebody who protected you from fear, somebody who gave you food. Panchayite Pitaras Samaha. Pitaras something will come. 5. He said you should know this. If you know Dharma, you should know this. This is the counter points he is making. Yaviyanatmana putraha sishyaschapi gunoditaha putravatte trayaschintya dharmaschaiva karanam. Now he went to the other side. He said, Yaviyan, younger one. Yavana is young youth. Yaviyan is one who is youthful to you, means younger to you. That's how the word comes. Yaviyan, Atmana Putraha, okay, Atmana will use it. Putraha, your own son. Sishyaschapi Gunoditaha, a disciple with good characteristics. Gunasahita Sishya. Putravatte, Atmana Putravatte. You should consider them as your own son. Trayaschintya dharmaha cha eva atra karanam. If you have the clarity of dharma, you will know your younger brother, your own son, and your disciples who are gunavantaha or gunavatyaha. Pullinga, Strilinga, Haitkimavi Bhavatu. Gunavantaha, Gunavatyaha, they are all like your son. And Dharma extols this, which means Sugriva is like your son. He is equivalent of your Angada. He is implying all this, he is not directly saying. He slowly builds the case how he violated Dharma. Sukshma Paramadurgyeyaha Satam Dharma Plavangama Hridista Sarva Bhutanam Atma Veda Shubha Shubham. Satam Dharma, the Dharma adopted by Sat people, good people, Sukshma, Paramadurgyeyaha, very hard to decipher. For all that I spoke for the first half an hour. It's not easy to decipher that because the guiding principle is sustainability of a much larger idea. So small things will happen. We cannot make sense at this level. So he says Satam Dharmaha Sukshmaha Paramadurgneha Plavangama. Plavangama is the adjective for Vali. Plavati is one who jumps. Basically, the Plavangama is Vanara, basically. Hridistaha, every one of us have Atma Sakshi. Hridaye Stitaha, Hridistaha. Sarvabhutanam Hridistaha, Atma, that called Atma, that knows what is Shubha and what is Ashubha. Never ignore your inner calling. Never you subdue your inner calling. You cherish your inner calling. He says nothing is so authentic to you than that. Sometimes the inner calling is there. We should not leave it. We should hold on to it very strongly. Because he says Sarva Bhutanam, that inner calling knows what is Shubha and what is Ashubha. It knows. The Prakriti has wired this basic feature in us actually. This is the grace of the Lord. The grace of the Lord is with us. Sometimes we ignore it, sometimes we brush it aside, sometimes we cover it for a while. All that we do. He says, if you know how to hold on to it, you'll have a conflict-free life. You may not have material gain, you would have materially lost also. See, these are all nothing to do with your material gain, your gain of your position, fame. It is not talking about it. You will gain your conflict-free living. Your living will become conflict-free. That's why he says, Hridistaha Sarva Bhutanam Atma Veda Shubha Shubham. Chapalas Chapalai Sardam Vanare Rakritatma Bihi Jatyanda Iva Jatyandaihi Mantrayan Drakshya Senukim. Mundakopanishad has a very similar. Ete ande niyamanaha etandaha. It's like a blind man leading another blind man to a destination. Ande nitamanaha etandaha. There is one shloka in, I think, third Mundaka. Mundakopanishad, I don't remember the full shloka. I don't read it every day. That's my problem. I read only management. So these things don't come to me just like that, although they are all there somewhere. Yata andaha niyamane, yata anda niyamane, and something on shloka is there. Exactly what he's saying. He's saying, Jatyanda iva jatyandaihi. There are blind people going, and they are led by blind people. Iva, like that. He says, what you have professed in your life, Rama is telling to Vali, what you have professed in life, you know how it is? It is like a blind man leading a blind man, you have walked on the path. That's what he says. Drakshyasenukim, what else can I say? It appears to me that the way you have done things is as though you are blind and you are led by a blind thinking there is a destination. That's the second line. And first line he says, Chapalaha, you are Chapala, right? Chapalaischaiva, cha chapalaihi, vanaraihi, akritatmabihi. You didn't have great company. The great company went with Sugriva. Hanuman, Jambavan, Nala, Nila, all of them went with them. You didn't have paid people to advise you. You didn't have the good company. So Sishtachara was not there. All that we spoke out, you didn't have. As you were Chapala, they were also Chapala. So that is how, this group also, Satsange, Satsangatam, Nisangate, Nisangatam. Dusangate, Dusangatvam. That's what happens, no? So, water finds its level, like that. You didn't have good company. You were Chapala. Why you are Chapala? Because Chapalehi, Vanarehi, Akritatmabihi. They are not Kritatmabihi. They are Akrita. They have not achieved anything great. They are not Kritarthaha. So you had a bad company and they actually advised you, on which you went. This is like a blind being led by another blind. Unfortunately, you led your life like that. So it has to end. That's what he was saying. Nachate marshaye papam kshatriyoham kulodgataha aurasi bhaginim bhaginim. Oh, the makar I was, the ma will go. Bhaginim. See, this some other font I was changing. I think I've sort of missed it a little bit. It is Bhaginim, that's all. I better. No, it doesn't go. It doesn't go anyway. Let it remain. So, oh, in between there is some question. 1 minute. We just close it and start it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Bhaginim, that is Bhaginim. Makara has to go. Vapi bharyam vapyanujasya yaha pracheratana kamat tasya dando vadasmritaha. So he says, Nachate marshaye papam kshatriyaha aham kulodgataha. See, I have come from a high lineage of Kshatriyas. Okay? Te papam na marshaye. I will not tolerate the sin that you committed. I have come from a Kshatriya family. I will not. That is the role of a Kshatriya. I am not going to tolerate the wrong things that you did. And what was the wrong thing you did? Then he says, Aurasim, Urasa Agatavati, my own daughter. That's what it means. I mean, wives, Aurasim means, born. So, Aurasim, own daughter, right? Bhaginim, sister, va api, Bharyam va api anujasya. The wife of the younger brother. If anybody tread on these three people, Kama Karanat, the dharma says finish him first. Dandaha vadaha smritaha. Smritaha is smriti. It has been clearly established, if anybody trespasses onto these three, you have to finish them. Now, as a Kshatriya, I am not going to keep quiet now because you committed this big mistake. He was like you. First, he said he was like your son. You are like your father, like his father. Now, the dharma, Shastra very clearly establishes these three are high level of crime. You are not supposed to do this, right? Aurasi, Bhagini, and Anujasya Bharya. These two you should not touch. Kamat, Naraha Pracherata. If anybody treads into this out of Kama, which is what he did with Sugriva's wife, right? Tasya dandaha vadaha smritaha. He has to be given death. Now the question is, if the king, so I will now show some other nice perspectives from Manusmriti, then you will understand that that's what is happening here. Then he says, he quotes from Manusmriti actually, in a different way. Sashanatva pi mokshatva stena papat pramuchyate raja tvashasan papasya tadavapnoti kilbisham. Sashanatva api mokshatva stenaha papat pramuchyate. If a thief gets liberated from the act of sin, pramuchyate, papat pramuchyate. How? Mokshat. Either he was, either by punishment, or simply, parole, you have, human rights and all that, you just leave him. The moment one big crime happens, 1,000 people rally around for human rights. Modern society is like that. The gory thing that happened in Hyderabad, there are human rights people jumping up and down. I mean, at one level it looks logical, at another level I don't understand this logic at all. If one terrorist shoots down a plane and kills 175 people, and there is human rights movement for the terrorist. So like that, they may get moksha. The moksha can happen like that. That's what he is bringing here. He said clemency, or do something. Raja tu ashasan, papasya ashasan. If the Raja does not impose proper punishment, tat avapnoti kilbisham, the whole sin will go to the Raja. The whole sin will go to the king. If the king did not give punishment appropriate to what it was, citing all kinds of things. Modern paradigm is slightly different. But here, that's what it is saying. He's saying the whole sin will go to the king. That's what it is saying. Then it says, Aryena mama mandatra vyasanam ghoramipsitam shramanena krite pape yata papam kritam toya. Then he recollects his ancestor Mandhata. Mandhata tasya tritiya vibhakti Mandhatra. By him. His name is Mandhata. Dhatru actually. Pitra, Pitru, Rikaranta. Mandhata in Sanskrit is Mandhatru Padasya Prathama Vibhakti. Rikaranta. Pita is Pitra. So Tritiya Vibhakti is Pitra. Like that Mandhatra, which means by Mandhata. The third case. Mama ma Aryena. This great king and my ancestor called Mandhata, right? Goram episitam vyasanam shamanena, an ascetic committed a sin like this, idrisam. Vyasanam shamanena krite pape, yata papam kritam toya. The kind of sin that you did, no? Like this one Shramana did. One saintly man did. Goram ipsitam, vyasanam. He put him into deep punishment. That's what, I recollect my lineage of people who have also ruled very well. I'm telling you. In fact, he talks about Ikshvaku. He says, what do you think about the clan from which I have come? We have lived for dharma. We will not tolerate anything that goes against dharma. That's why we are very beautifully talks about Ikshvaku Kula first. I think that's how he builds the whole argument into the dharma first. Then he starts showing some of the aspects of dharma which you have simply violated. So that's how he makes all these arguments. Now I'll take some shlokas from Manusmriti. Because all these, then I know the 8th chapter has 400, but I already marked down some. So I went straight to some of those and looked at, because there are many other type of punishment they are not interested in. What is relevant to us, I brought. Look at what it is saying. Sashanadva vimokshadva stenasteyad vimuchyate. Exactly like the shloka which Rama said. Ashasitva tutam raja stenasyapnoti kilbisham. Same shloka told in a slightly different way in Manusmriti. It says Sashanatva vimokshatva. By clemency, pardon, or by punishment. Stenaha steyat vimuchyate. If he is freed from either punishment or because of some pardoning, he is anyway released from the sin. Basically, punishment is not given. That's the meaning. Okay. Now what has happened? Ashasitva. I have not done shasan now. The Raja. He has resorted to this and let. Right? Ashasitva tu tam raja stenasya prapnoti tam kilbisham prapnoti. By doing it, the Raja will acquire all the sins on him. It will all accumulate on him. That's what he says. Why should I accumulate the sin? Your sin, why should I take? I should not. That's not the role of a Raja. Then he says, next sloka. Raja bikrita dandastu kritva papani manavaha nirmala swargamayanti santa sukritino yata. There is this firm belief that a person who has committed sin, if he is given proper punishment, that karma is squared there. it never becomes a sanchita karma. That is what it is saying. So when he goes to Sarga after this death, this account is finished. Karma will not accumulate. That's what he's saying. Rajabhihi krita dandaha tu papani manavaha nirmala dandastu kritva manavaha rajani papani nirmalaha swargamayanti, which means this account is closed. There is no carry forward. Next year account, you don't, this profit and loss account, everything started out charged to the current period. It is not carried over as either receivables or payables. It's not. So better, what he is telling you, I have done you a favor. This, all the bad things you did, I have redeemed it by this danda. Otherwise, you will carry this. I don't know how many janmas you will take for this. That is what he is saying. Your sanchita karma will not be there. Your prarabdha karma is all will be over because I have given you the punishment. What is this karma? Karma is as you sow, you reap. Sometimes you reap immediately, no? You don't have to carry. So this danda is good for you. Don't worry. I have absolved you of this. This account is closed now by my act of kindness to you. That's what he is saying. By this act of kindness, I have closed this account for you. Otherwise, this dagger will hang in front of you. That's what he is saying. These are all deep principles of prarabdha karma, vasanas, sanchita karma, agami karma. That is the idea behind this. Huh? No, it's not exchanged here. Settled. It is not exchanged at all. It is not carried over. That's all.
But normal movie, it always gets carried over. And for the papa you pay the penalty. For the papa,
yeah. What you carry over, it will apply. What you carry over is decided now. So that way, it is not at all no exception of any kind. It says certain things are squared up already. It happened in our life also. There are lagu karmas that we do. You would have seen it. I'll give a very humorous example. In 1983, I vividly, because it stays with me. In 1983, I and my cousin went to Co-optex. I vividly remember this. I am deeply into all these. Myself and my cousin, we went to Co-optex. There is a big showroom in Egmore, Pantheon Road. I went there. We bought a lot of things. We were traveling the bus. I came back home. I was a student at that time. I told him, this kerchief we have been paid. Some 1 rupee 50 paise or something. Genuinely, we sort of, it was not, we didn't steal it actually. I think in so many things, when I came back, I told him I lost 2 rupees. I said, finished. So certain karma gets, what I am saying, it happens many times in our life. I am telling you seriously. I am giving you a very humorous example. When I came home, I found 2 rupees was lost. So I told you, see, we didn't pay for it, it's gone now. We didn't know it. Very jokingly, I was telling him, I'm telling you, that is the idea. Some of the karmas gets immediately sorted out. So like that. Look at this. This is a very important shloka. I always say this. Look at this. Ashta padyam cha shudrasya steye bhavati kilbisham shodashayvatu vaishyasya dvatrimshat kshatriyasya cha brahmanasya chatushashtihi purnam vapi shatam bhavet dugina va chatushashtihi taddosha guna viddisah. This is very important. People are talking about Varna only one-sided. You should read actually Manusmriti. What Manusmriti says? If a Brahmin makes a mistake, I will finish him off. Ruthlessly, I will finish him off. I have at least 100 references in Manusmriti. So it is not putting somebody on the pedestal. There is a responsibility with you. You have to go and sit there. I mean, at every level. Right? So what is it saying? Ashta apadyam cha shudrasya steye bhavati kilbisham. Your act of theft multiplies 8-fold for a shudra. Who is a shudra? He is a simple worker here. I mean, he doesn't have responsibility. He doesn't have mandate. He takes instructions and work. So you should never, you should own the mistake than him. That is the idea here. So he says 8-fold. right? He says Ashta, Apadyam. Then he says Vaishya, which means somebody who runs a business and has a certain independence in taking decision, he or she must be more responsible. So the same, if that person does a theft, because he had a free will not to do it, he had a control, he could take decision 16 times. He says Shodashayvatu Vaishyasya. Because he has no freedom of choice. He is making money through his business and all that. That is the primary role of a business person. He has a choice. He should be much more careful. His employee, if it does, there is a limited impact there. So he says 16. Then he says a king has more power. The fence should not eat the crop. So 32 times. It is Dvavimshat Kshatriyasya. Now Brahmana is the worst. No, not 64. It goes up to 128. I'll tell you. He says, then Manusmriti says, how much should I give a Brahmana? Okay, give him 64. No. Give him 100. No. This fellow knows. He is a Brahmin. He only wrote the rule. He is a learned one. Give him 2 times 64, which is 128. The last 2 lines are only for Brahmin. Brahmanasya Chatushashtihi. Then he thinks for a while. Manu thinks for a while. He says, Purnam Vapi Shatam Bhavit. Give him fully 100. Then he thinks even more. He says, Tat Dosha Guna Viddhi. He knows, he is called a Brahmin who knows everything. All other people may have little. He is teaching them. Right? So this fellow preaches, he is not practicing. Make it 2 times 64. So why I brought it is the quantum of penalty to be given for Vali is very high. That is the point I am making. You can't be a CEO and do mistakes. The Rajaratnam Pillai is now in Patala. For all that he did, the effect is very high. So when you get credibility, today people talk only about the credibility and then they make all kinds of nonsense. Varna has nothing to do with Jati. There are 4 million Jati, 40,000 Jatis, there are only 4 Varnas. How can you equate both of them? Varna is different, Jati is different. Varna is a broad set of what is the composition of the nature of Varna is all about Guna Karma Vibhagashaya. Based on the kind of work, I can cluster you into 4. 1 in which you have no mandate. Absolutely no mandate, you can only take instruction. Every organization has all my group D employees are Shudras only. But if I say Shudras, they take offense because it has been wrongly understood. It's nothing to do with anything inferior or anything. It is a nice classification mechanism. Chatis can be 40,000, Varnas are 4. So he says, those who have no freedom of control, you don't make them accountable. Give them simple rules. Don't put them into too much of condition. Don't ask them to do Sandhya Vandana. All others have to do Trikala Sandhya Vandana. Vaishya and Kshatriya and Brahmana must pray to the Lord and do something because you have much more. Whereas set of people, that is what we do. Essential Services Maintenance Act will not be for the bus drivers. You also don't subject them to a lot of things because they have to do work. Don't give them holiday, but don't also subject them into so many controls of higher order. That nobody talks. So Vali requires a great deal of damage to be inflicted on him. That's why I brought it. This larger picture is also there. 19th Sarga, Tara comes to see Vali. Tara and Angada comes on seeing when they are coming, all the monkeys are running helter-skelter because they found Vali has been shattered by Rama. So they are very worried. They run away. Then Tara asks, what is happening? Why are you running and all that? She comes and sees her husband lying on the ground, hurt and dying. She never accused anything to Rama. She only spoke to, Vali. 20th Sarga, this entire Sarga is 26 shlokas. She pours her heart out of grief of seeing Vali dying. Then she says, a couple of shlokas I will just take. Sugrivasya toya bharya Hrita sacha vivasitaha yattat tasya toya vyushtihi prapteyam plavagadipa. You did wrong things, no? You got it now. That's what she is saying. Sugrivasya bharya toya hrita. You unlawfully took his wife. Also vivasitaha, you banished him. You threw him out. Not nivasa, vivasa. Without vasa. throw him. Right? Yat tat tasya toya vyushtihi. You did all these, no? That came back to you. As you sow, you reap. You did all these wrong things, it came back to you. That's what she told to Vali. Nishre yasapara mohat toya chaham vihargita yaisha bruvam hitam vakyam vanarendra hitaishini. I was hitaishini. I was interested in your welfare. Hey Vanarendra, right? Yesha bruvam hitam vakyam. I told good things for you because I am your well-wisher. Hitaishini, I am your well-wisher. But what you did, vihargita, you just nirakaram. You did the nirakara. Why? Para mohat. Because of this great delusion, you just disregarded my advice. I was your well-wisher. You paid a price for it. That's what she said. 21st Sarga, 16 verses. Hanuman consoles. Hanuman speaks. That's why Rama said, people around you don't know anything else. People are that side. Hanuman 16 short Sarga only. But Hanuman beautifully says, move on now, Tara. It's all fine. It has happened. We have to move on in life. That he comes and says, two nice shlokas, I will just stop with that. Guna dosha kritam jantuhu swakarma palahetukam avyagrastadavapnoti sarvam pretya shubha shubham. Deep philosophical idea. Whatever good and bad you did, after your death, all the account starts. That's what is happening. He gives a very broad statement. Guna dosha kritam jantuhu swakarmat. By my own act. Right? Pala hetukum. They are the hetu for your pala that you are going to get. Your Vali is in that journey now. That's what Hanuman is saying. Okay? Avyagrastadavapnoti sarvam pretya. After you become a preta, all these shubha or ashubha, there are you only planted. So he says, don't be emotional. Tara is not. But he's saying, let's do what needs to be done going forward. His term is over. He has carried his karmas and he is going. We'll have to move on in life. But everybody carries the, please understand, everybody carries their own karma and go. That's the concept he is saying here. Janasya niyatam evam bhutanam agatim gatim tasma chubam hi kartavyam panditena iha lauhikam. We are in this world. In this world, we have to do things. So don't throw your hands like this. Shubham hi kartavyam. Now we have to carry on. And as long as we are there, we have to do good things. Vali has gone. Right? Janasi aniyatam evam bhutanam agatim gatim. People will come and go. That will happen. While we have to mourn for it. But please understand, we have to move on. Because we are in the world and we have to do things as it goes on. So like that, there are a few nice shlokas. Hanuman brings words of wisdom to Tara. Actually, Tara says, I want to go along with Vali. I don't want any of this. We will see in the next Sarga how she sort of comes back around and so on. We will stop here with the Mangala Shloka. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyo shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasyashalini deshoyam kshobarahito brahmana santu nirbhayah aputra putrinas santu pautrinah adhana sadhana santu jivantu sharadam shatam shunvannara Ramayanam bhaktya yappadam padameva va sayati brahmanastanam brahmana pujyate sada. Hri Om.